Hi everybody. Even though we already said hi and ate together. No, really, it's great to have you here. I have so much to say in such little time because as I was researching more and more of the things that I have in my home, I just couldn't believe all the extra stuff that I don't do that even inspired me as I was just looking up even more things. So when I share some of this stuff, and I'll tell you which ones I didn't try, but I have already done it. But then I even got more information. I was like, this is great because we have so many natural things that we can tap into that we don't even know about that work just as good as the ones with the chemicals and stuff. So I want to first just talk about why we're here. It's DIY, which is do it yourself, natural cleaning ideas for a healthy home. And I believe that I started thinking about this kind of thing, wow, it could be like 8 years ago or more. I'm not sure, when I started noticing like how strong the cleaning smells are and how it was starting to get to me. And I would sometimes get stuffy in my nose. And I thought, well, at that time I didn't connect that it was chemicals in the products, in the cleaning products. So I just thought that I had, sinus trouble or something. But I started realizing every time I'm using that certain product or somebody else would be using it at somebody else's house, then I was connecting the dots that it was a cleaning product. So I don't even know how I started using things, but I know when Sean had a rash on his body, I just felt to use olive oil because that's what they use in the Bible. So I just started using olive oil on him, and it's what they call psoriasis, now. But back when he was born, he had it like behind his knee, like his upper leg. And so every time I would go to give him, every time he'd take a shower and he'd come out, we'd put olive oil all over him. And we just kept doing that and you don't have to do much. If you do too much, then when you go put your clothes on, it's just like, it's too oily. But if you learn how much to put on it, it's just perfect. It just soaks in your skin, and I wasn't even going to talk about that yet. I'm here to talk about cleaning products, but so anyway, after a half a year, I noticed it was gone, the rash. I'm like, oh my goodness, I was just trying that. So that's what I think that's when I started thinking healthier, and my mom always felt to eat healthier because Dad was going through things. So she was a help with that too. So first of all, I'm going to talk about two of the most common green ingredients. Do you know what they are in a home? Two of the most common natural ingredients that a lot of people have in their home.
Vinegar.
And you probably see it right here, right? Yeah, baking soda is one, and then the white distilled vinegar is the other. You can get the brown as well, but I use the white, so that way brown is pretty strong. Brown is a little stronger if you want to use it in toilets and stuff, but yeah, they're the two common ones, and I have a lot of different things that I do with them. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start with baking soda, which is also called sodium bicarbonate. And it's a mild alkali that cleans, deodorizes, and it's like a gentle abrasive. So I would have never seen that as like an abrasive. I would have just gone and bought something at the store to like clean grime and stuff off the bathtub, and I never really saw that I can make a paste out of that. So the shelf life is 9 to 12 months. And if you want to test if it's fresh, you just take a half teaspoon in hot water and you'll see if it fizzes or not. You can purchase a 13.5 pound bag at Costco, and it's only about $6 something. And it's just a little smaller than this. I got this online. This is a 15-pounder. And I started getting the big bags because I use it a lot more, and I'll tell you what all I use it for. So I better keep moving here. So the basic sink cleaner, I take a 1/4 cup of baking soda, a 1/2 cup vinegar, and 3 drops of any essential oil that you like. Like if you like lemon, I'm a big lemon person, so that's kind of what they use a lot anyway. Terry's laughing. She knows I love lemon desserts and everything. Oh, you do too. So does Carrie. So anyway, you can use whatever oil you want. And I have this all in notes, so I will give you the notes afterwards. So whatever, you know, you don't have to write everything down what I'm going to be saying. So you combine the ingredients, you pour it into the sink, and then you scrub with, you know, you scrub it with warm water, and then you wipe it down. And it's like using an abrasive type of thing. You don't have to use vinegar. If you'd rather just use baking soda and water and add an essential oil, you can, or just baking soda and water. So that usually is like, I think I'd usually do a cup of baking soda and a half cup water to make the paste. And then just stir that around. And I usually just keep it in like a little container, like it could be an old, maybe you had cream in a container or something. I usually like to use glass, but if I just have plastic, I'll put so much in there, and then I have the paste for a while. So if I ever have to get a scrub brush and get something off somewhere, I use that. Okay, so you scrub and wipe down surface, you rinse with warm water, and then the sink scrub, you can do 2 cups baking soda, 10 to 20 drops of essential oils, and your favorite dish soap. So it just depends. If you have to do a basic sink cleaner, you don't need as much. But if you have to like really scrub it, there you want to have it like a container with a shaker top. Do you know what I mean by that? That it shakes the, like if you have a protein shake, it has like a little ball in it, and you shake it, or the top has it in as well. But there you can put like the baking soda, the essential oils, and you put it in a container with a shaker cup, you sprinkle in the sink, and then you squirt your favorite dish soap. I don't use any, I'll show you the dish soap I use too. So, I usually get the 7th generation. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, do you have all heard of 7th generation? I always just use this for dish soap, or you can use the, this is also one that I've learned about as well. The Earth Friendly Ecos. It's like, it's kind of whatever I can find. So like if I'm going to Giant, or if I'm going to Save Mart or Walmart or whatever, I usually just try to get whichever one I can get. But I always have a natural dish soap. That's really important because you're washing dishes and you're eating out of the dishes. So I have really changed that, and they don't cost that much. They're not that expensive. Sometimes when you try to go for the better stuff, you think it is a little more, but nowadays we have a lot of things that we can buy now. So the toilet bowl cleaner and showers, there you can do 1/2 cup baking soda, 1/4 cup vinegar, 10 drops of tea tree oil, and you just add that to the bowl. You just like scrub with a brush and flush, and it's the toilet, that is, not the bathtub. But yeah, you just take the toilet scrub, and if you want to do something with the toilet as well, and you don't want to do all that, and you see a ring around the toilet, you just take, I have gallons of vinegar. So these are $2 something at the stores. You can get this Giant, Wise, wherever. I usually get it at discount stores. And this is white distilled vinegar. And I just pour it right in the toilet and make sure that there's enough water and vinegar that goes up over the ring that's in the toilet bowl. And then take your toilet brush, and after probably about soaking of 2 hours, something like that, just make sure you put on the lid, do not use. Put the lid down and put do not use, so your family is, I usually use the brown. And I forgot to put do not use one time, because the brown's a little stronger. And for toilets, I usually use that. And they're like, what? Why is this so brown? Anyway, so yeah, you want to close the toilet seat and put a note on there. But that's really good for toilet bowl cleaner, and it's not much work. And then you just take you'll just want to use one toilet brush for that, because the toilet brush does get brown, and then just always use that for that, unless you use the white. That works out good too. Carpet freshener. This is something I really just learned about recently. You take 2 cups of baking soda with 10 to 20 drops of oil. Just stir it with a knife. That's kind of the basic. So you take baking soda, you can put some essential oil in, your favorite essential oil, and you stir it with a knife, and then that's kind of, then you add to that, you know, whatever you usually want to do. But, so you stir with a table knife, you pour in a container with a shaker top, and if you don't have a shaker top, don't worry about that. And you sprinkle it on the rug or carpet and let it set for 15 to 30 minutes, and then you vacuum, and that refreshes it. And I didn't know that. And so we have, sometimes my husband and my sons flip properties. And so we had a rental property in Schaefferstown, and we had just bought it, and they had pets, and they had cats, and it was just really, really bad. It was so bad. I didn't know if we could save the carpet. I kind of felt we wouldn't be able to. So I went online and just checked naturally what we can do that would work. And I just took baking soda, and you can put your essential oil in. Of course, I did lemon, and you just put it all over the carpet. And I just took a broom, and I broomed it into the carpet, so that way it's kind of settles in. It's not just on top, because it was that bad. You have to do extra work. Then I sweep it, and then when I shampoo it in the shampooer, did anybody ever do a shampooer for carpet here? Have your own shampooer? Well, in the container, you put water and you put vinegar, and I have a recipe for that too. And your favorite oil. So then after you sweep the carpet, then you take the vinegar. Vinegar is like a sanitizer. This is just great. I mean, if you don't want something to smell, like, you know, when you get something out of the refrigerator, you clean out your refrigerator and you see something's a little moldy in there. That doesn't happen to any of us, right? And you get it out, like, oh man. And usually you have to use so much dish soap to like clean it out, but I don't even use dish soap at first when there's something that smells. If it's either strong of onions, or it's kind of moldy, or even meadow tea. When you make meadow tea and you put it in a gallon container, my boys don't like meadow tea. So if I put something else in that container after it's had meadow tea in it, they are not liking it. Wow. So what I do is I always, this is probably the most that if I could have anything in a room, in the kitchen, I have a spray bottle. You can get these at the dollar store, and a bunch of different colors. I have a spray bottle underneath or on top of the sink that has vinegar and water in it. So like it's mostly water. You can have it as strong as you want. If you want to put quarter of it, you know, water to 3/4 of the top and then 1/4 of it vinegar, you can do that. So I just spray out my dish and then rinse it out with hot water, and then I do the normal washing, and you don't hardly even have to have any dish soap. It already cleans it with that smell. If you want to put lemon in, I've already tried that. Put a couple drops of lemon in, but then, you know, it's not like it gives, then it gives a lemon smell to some of your containers, and you might not always want that. So I use it all the time. Onion smell, I'll spray it with vinegar and water. And if you need to make it stronger vinegar, then that's what you do. And it takes it right out, takes the smell right out. So, to make a long story short, with the apartment, we did not have to get other carpet. I think I shampooed it 3 times. And then, well, actually, somebody else shampooed it once. And then I shampooed it at the end. And the vinegar really helped a lot. And the lemon essential oil. You can go online and find out which oils are antibacterial. And then that's what you want to use for, and lemon is antibacterial, peppermint is, cinnamon, I can't think, there's probably about like 7 or 8 that are.
Citrus, I think.
What was that?
Most citrus.
Yeah, there's a lot, yeah, citrus, but they are actually more moderate. The peppermint, the cinnamon, there's some that are even stronger antibacterial, and I didn't know that. Yeah, so I found out that also. Okay, so when you put the water in the shampooer in the container, it's usually equal parts. So it's half water, half vinegar. Depends how strong your carpet needs it. If you have a carpet that is new, like this carpet would be new, I might not have to put as much vinegar in then. It's more or less I'm just cleaning it, and I can do less, you know. And you don't want too strong of a smell of lemon or whatever you put in, so you want to be careful that you don't put too many drops in. So that's your carpet. Now stains in the carpet. this is something I just, there's two different recipes. The one recipe is vinegar, baking soda. You pour the vinegar, so right here, like say a spot would be right here, I just pour that right on the spot. And then I can take a teaspoon or a half cup and I put it in the baking soda. I sprinkle that on top of the spot. And I might spray the spot again on top with vinegar. I let it just set for a little bit. And this is what I didn't know. This is what a lot of carpet cleaners, professional do. They don't rub it with a cloth. They take a shop vac and they get the stain and so they just take the shop vac and they just go right on that stain after that was setting for a little bit. But he said, I listened to the one guy who does carpets online, and he said that is the secret. One of the secrets to getting your stain off your carpet is the shop vac. You can get a small 1 gallon shop vac, wet dry, at Walmart for like $19. So it's called Stanley Shop Vac. I think I'm gonna get one of them, because after I heard that, I'm like, that's great, because if we have different houses that we flip and I have to clean, you know, I might as well get one of them. So that's a wet dry Stanley Shop Vac, and that extracts the cleaning agent and the stain. So what this guy did was he did two separate things. He did one without the shop vac and did it just with vinegar and the baking soda, and then he did, no, he used the shop vac for both, but he did the vinegar, baking soda, and the one stain, what it was shoe polish. So he actually put shoe polish on the carpet, 2 marks, and the vinegar and baking soda was not quite strong enough for that, but it would be strong enough for others, that you wouldn't have to use a stain remover. But this is the second recipe, and this is what he said a lot of people don't know. It's 6 common household items. It's 1 cup warm to hot water, not scalding hot, you don't want it scalding hot. A half teaspoon dish soap, and there again we would have the natural dish soap or whatever you use. You don't want to do any more than half a teaspoon, he said, because what will happen is it'll be a foamy mess. 2 tablespoon rubbing alcohol, that serves as a degreaser, preferably than 91% at CVS. And he said that has like a flip top. You can just, you know, bring it up. Gently stir, do not shake, because you don't want it to be too soapy. And then he said you need to pour it into the spray bottle. So it's usually good to use one of those measuring cups that has a spout, and you can pour it into the spray bottle. So you spray the spot, you don't use the rag again, you let it there for just a little bit, and then you use an old spoon, back of a spoon, just to kind of like push it down in. Because you're not gonna be like, you're just dabbing it, pushing it in. And then he says, this is the secret to the stain removal, is use the Walmart 1 gallon wet dry Stanley Shop Vac to extract the cleaning agent and the stain. And so he showed it on the video, and it just came right out. And this was black shoe polish. So I think the rubbing alcohol, the degreaser, I think that's probably what helped as well in that. And if it doesn't come out, he had to repeat it twice. He said just add a little bit, use your spray again, and just add a little bit more rubbing alcohol. And then he got it out like the 3rd time, it totally came out. So that was great to have these natural stuff, right? And I didn't know this, a mattress freshener. You combine 1 cup of the baking soda and 3 to 4 drops essential oil. Same thing again, that's that basic. You sprinkle on the mattress, allow to sit to absorb any odors, and then use your hose attachment to your sweeper and pick up the powder. And then that's, you know, you can use the round brush one if you want. And that's how to do a mattress freshener, just with baking soda and essential oil. And then if you have soap scum, let me see here, let's look at this, soap scum remover. Soap scum remover, 1 tablespoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon salt, a few drops essential oil, and a bit of vinegar. So if you have scum somewhere, soap scum, you know, that's in the bathtub or whatever, that's a really good one too. there it has a little vinegar in with the baking soda. So you're gonna hear me sometimes repeating myself because the vinegar has a lot of really good stuff with the baking soda, and they both kind of do the same thing. So let's say you don't have baking soda, you can also use vinegar with the essential oils and stuff. The thing I like about the baking soda is that takes care of the abrasive part. So if you have a ring around your bathtub or whatever, you scrub that just like you had another kind of abrasive thing from the store. Now this is grill cleaner. You sprinkle baking soda directly on the grill grates and the interior. Allow it to sit overnight. Use a stiff scrub brush to remove the grease and the grime. And then rinse and repeat if you have to, if necessary. You just rinse and repeat. And that takes that off of there too. And baking soda is not harmful. It's a very gentle abrasive agent. For cup and mug cleaner, pots and pans, you know how sometimes the coffee stain is in your mugs and it's kind of hard to get out. There again, you can make a simple paste, and it's 1 cup baking soda, 1/2 cup warm water, and that's it, 2-to-1 ratio. And that will clean a lot of stuff. I couldn't believe it. You know how they have the, when we first moved into this home, the magic erasers, they're like, actually I have one here I wanted to show you. They're really good at getting spots off of walls, I heard, and everything. I heard that from a friend of mine, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna get that for here, because I saw some spots to get off. And so we were using this, a couple ladies came over and I had this on hand. And then the one time it wasn't getting a spot off very good after we had it all clean, furniture was in and everything. And I'm like, what can I use? I'm gonna try baking soda and water. I'm gonna try that paste. So I went and put it in a container, mixed it up, and then I took a Norwex. Do you all know about Norwex rags? Okay, that is something that, let me just quick show you one. They're really amazing. You know how you can get microfiber rags? Actually, that's what I was always using, microfiber rags at my kitchen sink or just cleaning. And you can get them at Kmart, Walmart, Target, in the car wash section aisle. And I loved them because when I would clean off my counters in the kitchen, they wash it and dry it at the same time. So I didn't have to always go back, wring out, get another dry rag and dry it. But it just takes care of it. Well, Norwex, I just really love Norwex. I mean, Terry Gray would love if I'd be, if she'd be here, she sells these, so she would like this part. So this is for you, Terry. But anyway, they are awesome rags, and they have, I can't really tell you what all they have in it, but maybe some of you know. Do you know what's all in it?
Bits of silver in them?
Bits of silver in them, yes, that's right, they do.
One of their special characteristics.
Yes, so when you take this rag, and I would take the baking soda base powder with the water, I would put that on I would go like right into my container and go like this. It was taking the spots right off. And I'm like, what am I doing with a magic eraser when I can have baking soda? So, yeah, I switched that. I'm not buying magic erasers anymore. So that's another thing that's great.
Is
So
it bleach in the magic erasers, or what is it? It's something.
yeah, see, yeah, they have like different ingredients in that too. That's not that great. But see, they can now, for some reason, they're making stuff like this without any odor, but there's still bad chemicals in it. Before it used to be you'd really smell stuff, and you think, oh, that is just really terrible. But now they're making it that you can't hardly smell it. They feels like, yeah, it feels like it doesn't have anything in it. Yeah, yeah. And that's the same with, I'll just say this too, Kleenexes. When you buy Kleenexes, do you always watch that you get the unscented? You always want to get the unscented. That's why people have sometimes problems, even they think it's the environment, or they think, but they don't know there's now a lot of lotions in your Kleenexes. And I just saw one the other day, because I always look for unscented. And I saw one that said unscented with, I'm like, wait, I think it was aloe vera lotion or something. It was some kind of lotion that was in it. I'm like, now I have to even watch that I just want unscented, that's it.
one saw that cooling, like a cooling thing now too.
A cooling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So like for if you're like this.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, they're putting all kinds of stuff in our
Yeah.
Kleenexes now, and it's not very good for us, especially it's going right up our nose. So, so you want the unscented. I mean, if you want that, but I recommend it. So yeah, this is all recommendation. I'm recommending it. It's not like I'm saying, look, you need to go and do this now, or we can't be friends. No.
You just won't go over to their house.
What'd you say?
You just won't go over to their house.
Yeah. Won't go over to their house. Yeah. That was charity. Okay, so I got the spots on walls. Now pets. How many of you guys, ladies, I should say, have pets? Do any of us have pets? Do you have a dog, cat?
Dog and cats.
Dog and cats.
Well, I live with my parents, so it's
Okay.
their pets, but
Do you have
I'm a
animals?
bird.
We have a dog and a
I have a bird too.
Oh, okay. So this is good, and we used to have a hairless cat, and it looked like, you know, the Egyptian cats, you know. It also looked like a chicken, but anyway, so what I would have done if I would have known this, my mom actually works at a nursing home, and they have a cat that goes around the nursing home. You know, they show the cat and take it to rooms and stuff. And in the litter box, they always put a layer of baking soda first on the bottom, and then they put the litter on. And that makes sense because that's what baking soda does. You know, it takes care of odors. So that's an idea. Another thing is, let's see, what was the other thing that they? Oh yeah, for carpet, you can do the same thing, where you can either spray vinegar on it, because vinegar takes out odor as well. So that's however strong you want to make it too. The vinegar and water. One of these guys. I have them. I have these. If you go to every one of my bathrooms, I have one under my sink that has water, vinegar, and lemon essential oil. So then I use that even if I have to wipe off the sink, because vinegar is sanitizing. So I just use that for my toilets if I ever want to wipe them off every once in a while. And this is the key to family, to when you have kids, is you get those little white hooks. You can get at the dollar store. They have the back adhesive, like the tape, you know, and then you put it right onto the cupboard inside. Well, I have one on each side, a rag on each side of the cupboard. You open up the cupboard, and there's one that I can use for wet, and there's one I can use for dry, and every once in a while I just wash them and then replace them. And then I always have this, and so anytime I need to, and the kids, they know that if they ever leave a mess somewhere in the kitchen or the bathroom, they know exactly where to go get the rag and the vinegar and the lemon and water. Yeah. So that's really helpful. If you have flames of a grease fire, does anybody know what to do with that? If you would ever have like grease on your stove? Flour might work. I never thought of that. But baking soda is something you use. You just pour baking soda over it until it is extinguished, taken care of. But I think I did hear about flour at one point.
I've never tried it. I think I just tried that.
Yeah. There's probably a couple things you can use for that. Another thing is freshly brewed iced tea, and I thought this might work with meadow tea as well. To remove the bitterness, you just add a pinch of baking soda to a gallon, and that also removes the cloudiness. I never knew that either. Okay, so now we're going to go to, somebody, let me tell you this first. Somebody just posted on our, whoever's on the Shabbat ladies WhatsApp, somebody had just mentioned, I think it was Crystal Boyer, that I think Lauren, she wasn't sure what was on her foot. There was a bad rash. It looked like poison ivy. It had bubbles. And so she was asking what she should do. So people were giving different ideas. And I think she did find out that it was poison. If you have poison ivy, oak, or sumac, you can get half a cup of baking soda in a bathtub filled with warm water and soak in that. Or you can apply baking soda paste. Now this is a little different recipe. This is 3 teaspoons of baking soda plus 1 teaspoon warm water to a rash. And that usually takes care of the itchiness and dries it up.
That's bee stings too.
Bee stings.
That's what we grew up doing. Baking soda
Yes.
and a little bit of water to the bee sting.
Okay. You know what? I
And
think
chocolate
I
and stuff.
remember doing that when I grew up, when I was little. I forgot about that. So bee stings, that's another one you can do that with. Now the laundry, this is something I just started recently, and that's why I got the big bag, because Steve started doing work over in Nessville at a house, and he's doing construction, and this time it's like tearing down walls and dust and just, and the smell of the jeans and the shirt, it's like a, I don't know what it is, but it's not a mildew or moldy smell, but it just has a strong smell after he's done working. I'm like, what do I do with this? So I'm a big one on vinegar. So I have a utility sink in the laundry, and I would just fill it with warm water, and I would just pour the vinegar in to what I think, you know. Then I would put his clothes in there and soak it. That's what I'm doing now. I soak it in vinegar overnight, and that takes care of the smell. And then I let the water down out of the utility sink, and then I put water in the washer first with a cup of baking soda, and let that dissolve in the water first. And then I put the detergent in and the clothing. And there again, I don't use any, I try to get, you know, you can't have everything just perfect, but you can get detergent now in Giant, Wise, or wherever you shop that are free from the artificial fragrances, dyes, and chemicals, and harsh chemicals. Some say harsh chemicals, so there might be, sometimes chemicals, there are natural chemical, but I was really checking them out, and Nature's Promise has some, and so does, I really like the 7th generation. It was a lavender, and I can't find it anymore at Giant, so I might go online, but I really like that one. It's 7th generation, it's a lavender one, and that's the 7th generation is the same as my dish soap. But that's a really good one as well. But you can go in there and you can look for one that says free from, and some even say clear. They don't have any natural fragrance. It's just clear. So you can find that as well. So you do the normal thing. I put the jeans over in the wash with the baking soda, and that refreshes it, freshens it up a bit, and it makes it cleaner smell. And then I put it in the dryer as normal. So that's just, there's so many more things you can do with baking soda. I wasn't quite sure where to stop. But that's kind of the baking soda thing. How many of you use baking soda at home? 1, 2, 3, 4. For cleaning purposes? That's wonderful. Does anybody else, before I go on, have an idea, if you can talk really loud so it can get into the recording, something that I didn't share?
It's not necessarily a cleaning thing, but something our family's been doing with baking soda is you put like a teaspoon in a little bit of water whenever you just feel the first signs of like a sickness or like a cold or something especially, and you just drink it, and it's knocked out so many things, and it's so baking soda is a pH balancer.
Yeah, it is.
And so usually when you're sick, your body is your pH level's off. So whether your pH is too high or too low, baking soda will even that out in your body as well. We start out, like, you want to start out with a very small amount. Because it's
salty.
It doesn't taste bad. It's like, it almost tastes really salty, but not.
Okay.
But yeah, as soon as you start feeling it, we go for the baking soda. So we get like, at our natural food store, there's like an aluminum-free baking soda.
Yeah.
So we try and get for whenever we internalize it.
Yes.
So that's what we try and use. But then for cleaning, we use like the Arm & Hammer and stuff.
So the aluminum-free baking powder?
Baking soda.
Soda. Because that's interesting you say it's a pH balance, because apple cider vinegar, not this, but the Bragg's apple cider vinegar with the mother, you'll see in the front of the jar, that's a pH balance. And so I would usually have them take a little bit of that with water. And here,
But
that
don't
does the
take them
same
together.
thing. Take them together.
What happens?
You'd be really fizzing.
They interact. I don't know how would it do in your body, but it's like
They can be used together
Yeah.
out of your body. I don't know what they.
I wouldn't recommend it. I'd do the research before you do anything with that.
I would too.
Make
But, like-
volcanoes like when you're doing a science
yeah.
project.
So it's like but I've done both apple cider and I've done baking soda, but I've never done them together.
Yeah,
So-
I haven't either. Anybody else? That's something.
Did you mention that for like unclogging drains? I might have missed it.
Yeah, that's one.
Like using,
Actually, I have vinegar for that, but I haven't I use vinegar for that, but I haven't used baking soda.
cause we'll do like, you know, you pour hot water and then you pour, I forget exactly the order, but then you put in the baking soda. You do the baking soda and then you pour over the vinegar, so it does create that volcano in your drain, and then you pour
Oh.
back through with hot water, and it really helps to unclog.
Oh, that's
Like,
great.
At work, that's the grease drain, cause I work in a kitchen with a lot of grease. So it's like, that's one of the best things that we've done is vinegar and water, or vinegar and hot water, vinegar and, baking soda.
Okay, so use both vinegar and
Yeah.
baking soda. Yeah, they are great together as well.
Volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, that's good.
yeah.
So if you didn't hear that, it's baking soda and vinegar and hot water for a clogged drain, or just for even to clean out a drain if it's erupting with some stuff. Anybody else?
I had done something for a tulip bowl, like you put them in ice cube trays, and the recipe called for citric acid and like essential oils, and I don't remember if it had baking soda. It was citric acid and something else, and it got hard, like it hardened. And then you put them in a glass jar, and then when you want to clean your toilet bowl, you just put one in, let it fizz for 20 minutes, and then you can just use the brush and cleanse.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's different.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it worked,
So many
but
things you can do. Yeah.
it was fun to make.
Yeah. I made recipes are good. Did you have anything? Okay. That's great. So we're gonna go to the white distilled vinegar. We're really using Bragg's, so I got Bragg's apple cider vinegar in a gallon as well as the white distilled. Because Steve was using it on a rash. He could not get rid of a rash on his leg and the back of his knee for a while. So he was using coconut oil, and then at nighttime he would spray apple cider vinegar on it. And he doesn't have the rash anymore, but it took time. It took a little while to get rid of it, but he's just really thankful because that caused a lot of itching, that rash that he had. We're not sure where it came from. So, but I'm gonna first start with this. So this, I'm not even sure when I started using this, except I started with, I believe, toilets. Somebody had told me that it works for toilets. And I saw how much it took off the line, the ring inside the bowl, toilet bowl, and I'm like, wait, that means it could do some other things. So actually I'm gonna read to you what it is. It's an acid that is effective, non-toxic alternative to popular cleaners, including bleach. It deodorizes, sanitizes, and is often used for the removal of stains, mold, and rust. And it does work for mold unless it just got way out of hand, your clothing, because I had to take care of one of my son's moldy clothes that came back that were somewhere for a couple weeks. And I'm like, okay, this is a good experiment. I'll try this. And I had it soak in the vinegar, like equal parts. And then I probably did that like 3 times, washed it, did it again, washed it. And I put the baking soda in a cup in the washer drum, and I got it after the 3rd time. So, but that's when you really let clothing sit for a while, that you're gonna have to need something strong. So it does take care of mold and rust. Rust, it's an amazing thing. You know, when we go to Sukkot, we come back with all of our camping tools and everything. Do any of you put them in vinegar afterwards? I'll have like I either did it in my utility sink. Well, my utility sink, I didn't want that to get bad, so do you need help?
Do you have a way that I can plug this in?
I do, yes.
I just don't want it to die on me.
Yeah, okay. We'll be right back. Let me see here. I don't know what kind you have. Do you have you just need a plug.
Well, I need something that I
Just
can
need
stick
this.
the USB, yeah. And then,
Okay.
you don't know how to,
And I'll get an extension cord.
sorry.
Let me see what I have. Stairs. tree.
It's
I'll
great.
take this
Yep.
on the top. You have to put it in the top.
Oh, okay.
Oops, I think I just turned it. There we go. Okay, we're back. All right, so where were we? Oh yeah, with rust. So when we go to Sukkot, we come back with all the, you know, the grill tools and all the different stuff. And I just put it in an old bucket. I'll put vinegar in. And sometimes I'll just do more vinegar than water because, you know, they come back pretty. And I just put it in there for like a day or so. It just takes off the rust, and then I just scrub them outside with the hose and some, you know, some,
Is that like cast iron stuff as well, or?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I put everything in. Even the, oh, what do you call them? They make
Mountain pie?
mud pie
No.
thing, yeah.
Mountain pie.
Mountain pie? Yeah, mountain pies, not mud pies.
You put mud in
Yeah.
it if you like.
We used to make.
That must be a Mennonite thing.
It is, we used to make mud pies.
We don't eat
I
them.
just remember at the picnic table, my girlfriend and I, yeah, we made little mud pies. Mountain pies, we'll change that there, thanks girls. So that's a great thing to do. It doesn't take near as long to clean. Yeah, and if you need to let it in for 2 days, whatever, it doesn't matter, it doesn't hurt them. And as far as like silverware, I have like silverware that I put in the vinegar for a while, like in a basin, because my silverware was good, and it just shined them right up. And so I thought, wait, that means there could even be something for, you know, shining whatever you have, like if you have candle holders that are brass or whatever, you might be able to do something with that. So I did see something online about that, but I don't think I wrote it down. I had enough of stuff. The shelf life, I did tell you the shelf life for baking soda, right? But the shelf life for this, it's almost indefinite. And its acid nature makes vinegar self-preserving and does not even require refrigeration. So I always thought about it that this is be really good even for like in hard times, because it doesn't have to need refrigeration, but it sanitizes, it takes care of odor, does a lot of things. So doesn't hurt to have a couple of those on hand. Okay, vegetables and fruits. Do you all clean your vegetables and fruits, or do you just kind of do it with your water?
I use a
Yeah.
veggie wash.
You use veggie wash?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have been just doing it with we don't have our purifier machine set up here, but I have the pitcher like you saw tonight that I just put my water in a bowl and then I do with that. But you can do 2 tablespoons vinegar to 1 pint of water in a spray bottle and just spray your veggies and fruits.
And they won't taste like vinegar?
No, then you just wash it off. Have you done that already? Yeah,
I actually use it full strength.
full strength. Okay.
But I rinse it well.
Yeah, yeah. So I've heard that's really good to use that for veggies. Another thing that I found out, this is something that I found out on my own. Yeah, it's gotta be a few things I can say that I did actually some other things too, but I forgot to say. But the dishwasher, you know where you put the jet dry finish rinse aid, you know, to make your dishes shinier. There's usually like a little compartment and you put that in there. Well, I was having problems with like my dishes in my dishwasher at the Linnet's house, where it was coming out and they were just being cloudy and just didn't look good. I'm like, vinegar. So I just stuck full strength white. Do you do that? Yeah, white distilled vinegar in the compartment, and then when it's near the end, you know, when it's about to finish, then that comes out, and it shined up my glasses. It was just great. So you don't even need to buy the stuff at the store. Have it right in your house. Let me see what else. Oh, if you want to clean your dishwasher, I would really recommend cleaning your dishwasher every once in a while. Just let it run through a cycle. And I just pour some in right in the dishwasher, and then no soap or anything, no dishes, just turn it on and let it go through a cleaning cycle. Just like they do did you ever get like coffee makers? They actually tell you to use vinegar. Did you ever see how you're supposed to clean? Have you ever seen that it's with vinegar? Well, there, I think the recipe that I saw, let's see if I can find it here. You fill the reservoir of your machine with vinegar and run it through a brewing cycle. Then you empty it and you repeat the brewing cycle with water to rinse away the vinegar then. But then it did say always follow the instructions too of the coffee maker, just to make sure that that's what you can do with that. Okay, so we're gonna go just through a few things here. Your washing machine. This is an excellent fabric softener and deodorizer. So you add a 1/4 cup vinegar into your washing machine during the last rinse cycle, or put it into washer in the beginning to help remove stains and to soften your fabric. And that's also good. They both kind of do the same thing. They both take care of odor. What was the other thing that I do? I told you about the clothing. Oh, to eliminate soap residue, just add 1 cup vinegar to the washer's full rinse cycle. So you know how you have soap residue in your washer? And you can also do that with this, to a full rinse cycle. Just add 1 cup of that. Who has poopery in your house? No? Well, this is something that I didn't even know it was out. And I thought, wait, I could do water with essential oils and put it on my, put it there at the toilet so that whenever somebody goes, they can just spray in the toilet bowl. Well, then I hear that there's poopery out, and I'm like, I could not believe it. There's actually something called that. And so I decided I'm going to do that, and I have at every toilet bowl or toilet, I have a spray bottle with water and essential oils in it. And the thing is, you shake it every time. And do you know that if you spray it in the bowl first, and then you go to the bathroom, it actually puts that film on top of the water, and you don't hardly smell anything. It's really amazing. It really is. It actually works. When somebody told me that, I'm like, are you sure? But it does. It works. So I have that in every bathroom, and then when it's amazing, you don't need to use much essential oils. You put what you want in to make the smell good. But then I just keep adding water for a while and then keep shaking it. You always shake it before you spray. Or you can spray afterwards too. It just is better results if you do it before. But after a while that the scent is not as strong anymore, then I kind of let the water go down. So I can just put new water in and then put more essential oils. But it's amazing how long it lasts without putting more essential oils in it. So that has been a key thing. I even have that at Steve's work in all the bathrooms at the warehouse. It's been really good.
Which oils do you like to put in that?
Well, I have different ones. Like the one I had peppermint for a while. I had peppermint, and then the other one, did I do peppermint and lavender? But again, I'm a lemon person, so I might do lemon and lime. Or lemon and orange. So, but you can do whatever oils you like. Yeah, and whatever you have. Just depends. But I did lavender one time. I just think lemon has a stronger smell. I like it. See, what was the other thing here? I already told you can get them at the dollar stores. The other thing is, so now, let's just say you want to have an all-purpose cleaning solution. You want to have one for everywhere. And you can do that in a spray bottle. Just combine 1 cup vinegar with 3 cup water. So if you don't want to do that much vinegar, and you want to do less vinegar, you make it to the way you like it. And then you can put whatever essential oils you want in again. And that can be your overall, if it's cleaning sinks out in the kitchen, whatever. Window cleaner, this is also a Norwex. You know how they used to, well, they might still call it chamois. They still call it chamois? That's what my mom would usually call it back then. But this is what Norwex has, and you can pass it around. It cleans windows like no other. Since I use that, I wouldn't even use anything else.
Just hot water?
I use my spray, a little vinegar and water and a little lemon. That's kind basic. And if you don't want lemon in, you just do vinegar and water.
And you wipe it off and there's no streaks or anything?
No streaks.
Wow.
It is the best. And what I was using before is the microfiber, and this is what you would usually find back in the, I used this a couple times, the car wash. And they last for a little while, then I use them for old rags. Sorry. I'm back. I use these for old rags if I use the microfiber and you don't have Norwex for now. But if you do get Norwex, the window one is the best. I wouldn't do without it. I have it on every floor. And then let's see what else was that with that. I think I went over all my bottles here. Oh yeah, here. This is for the dishwasher then. They also have 7th generation for that. So you can, I think they have some other ones now too. Probably Nature's Promise has that too, as well. So it's a lot easier to get. Where was I here? Window cleaner. There again, if you don't even have, if you just get the one under the sink or you just have vinegar and water, you can just use that for all purpose. I mean, I can go for windows, whatever. And the first time I realized to use vinegar on windows is I had bought Windex and it said on there made with vinegar on the front. And I'm like, oh, there's vinegar in that. I could put vinegar and water together and just try it, and it works great. If you see that something's starting to streak, then just do less vinegar. I only put a few drops of oil because I didn't know if oil would make it. It hasn't so far, but I put the lemon oil in and it's fine. Okay, so I already went through with the toilets and camping stuff. Filters, you can do filters with this too. After you have swept off the filter for whatever it is, if it's in a,
Vacuum?
yeah, whatever it would be, a vacuum, and you want to kind of sanitize it, yeah, just put it in a little bit of vinegar and water that soaks in there and you just wipe it down or spray it. You can do that too. And this is a new one. I haven't tried this one yet. Fresh flowers. Do you ever get fresh flowers? Fresh flowers. What you do is you add a few tablespoons of vinegar to your flower water to make your flowers last longer.
Huh.
I know, we always want our flowers to last longer, don't we? Because they just don't seem like they last long enough. And then when you see that the water's getting cloudy, just dump it out and repeat the process. So that's another neat thing that I saw. This is one of my favorite. So I have wooden floors here and I had wooden floors in Lidditz. And I really wanted badly a natural wooden floor cleaner. So I went online, and this was years ago, and I found one. And it's 1/2 cup white vinegar with 1 gallon warm water, 10 to 20 drops essential oil in a bucket, and you mop the floor with it. And it makes a wonderful smell. Then when you want to wax your wooden floor, you're basically using the same recipe as cleaning the wooden floors, but now you're adding a 1/4 cup olive oil, which the olive oil is now it's the oil that's with that. So you add a 1/4 cup olive oil to the recipe of the cleaning the wooden floors, and you use hot water. If it is too slippery, then you want to go over it with a dry mop to make sure it's, but it got so nice. That's what I did in here again. That's a neat one. This here, I should have had that in the other one. This one here, relieves sunburn pain. Okay, so you soak a washcloth in 50-50 solution of vinegar. Actually, you can do either one. I'll do this one later. You can do either one. I used apple cider vinegar when we were at Florida about a month ago, and we were determined not to get burned, and we didn't, but I had problems with getting sun blisters on my lips. And I thought, I'm going to try something this year. So we had apple cider vinegar along, the Bragg's, because we always take a spray bottle along with us. In case we do get burnt or anything, you can put apple cider vinegar, you can dilute it, or you can put it straight on, but I would usually dilute it a little bit. and you put it right on the burn, and it take you at nighttime, and you will not be burned when you wake up. It's amazing. It's a great thing for. Have you tried that? You're nodding your head.
I got burned really, really bad 2 years ago.
Really?
Like, so I couldn't hardly touch it, and I just was like, I had a cotton swab, and I was just brushing it on it constantly. The next day, it was like, it didn't hurt near
Yeah.
as bad. Like,
Yeah.
I was still like a little, like you could tell I had burnt,
Yeah.
but it, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a little bit on my shoulders. I had just gotten a little bit burned, and then, so you put soak a washcloth in 50-50 solution of vinegar and water and dab on your sunburn, or add 2 cups to your bath water. Well, we had this along, and so I was dabbing that. I had a little spray bottle that I take along with it. Here's the spray bottles I'll take. This is fun. So I take apple cider vinegar, and then I take my olive oil. I take more olive oil along though. I take a big bottle and I just put that. And then I take peppermint or lemon spray. And when I go into a condo or any kind of place, hotel I'm staying, I spray the vents. And it totally takes care of that musty smell that's in a hotel. And I got that from Haley Russell. Kenny and Haley Russell. She told me about that one time when she was in a hotel and she sprayed the vent, and so from now on I don't do without this. I take lemon or peppermint, of course. Yeah, so I have lemon and peppermint there. But that, so the apple cider vinegar, I put it on my lips. I did it every night because I could feel it starting to come. You know, you can feel it starting to bubble a little. I did that at night, and then in the morning, I put this doTERRA Deep Blue Rub, which is great for muscle pain or anything like that. I put that on my lips. So that has like peppermint and stuff and a cooling agent. And I did not come home with it, but I know I would have, because every time if I'm gone that long, my lips are majorly terrible looking. But that took care of it. So that was exciting. How are we doing? Okay. So, dryer sheets. Have you ever heard of how to do dryer sheets? You know how you want to put it in the dryer while the clothes are drying, you want to have it like not cling to each other. That's why sometimes they put it in, but you can have like a smell. They usually have a strong smell to it, which is not good. All those chemicals come off into your clothes. Well, I learned this from my sister-in-law. You have a spray bottle and you put 1 cup vinegar, and what you do is you take let me do this first. You take strips of a cloth, like let's say an old t-shirt. I just cut squares of an old t-shirt. And let me see what's it. You put essential oil, you pour the vinegar into the spray bottle, and about whatever you want, 15 to 20 drops of essential oil. Spray the sheet until dampened. Now I never did all water, all vinegar. I always did water, half water, equal parts of vinegar and water, and then essential oil, 15 to 20 drops, or more. They have 25 here, so I don't know, but. And then you just, every time you want to put it in, you have your spray bottle in your laundry room, you want to put that in the dryer, you spray it, get it all damp, stick it in there, and it works perfect.
So you just use that one over and over and over.
Yeah, you can just, and then wash it wash it after, 3 or 4 times if you want to. Or you can have like, I had 5 or 6 or up to 10
Different scents.
square, and you can put them in. Somebody put it in a mason jar. I saw online where they kept it in a mason jar.
That's a neat idea. I just figured we were supposed to get rid of dryer sheets and there were no alternatives really, but that's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, the regular sheets you would get
They're
rid
bad.
of. Yeah, they're really strong too. They have a really strong smell. How many ever made your own homemade bug repellent? Yeah, you did. That is also something you can make. It's the oils to use. You can see online. There's a lot of oils to use: citronella, lemon, eucalyptus, lavender, peppermint, sweet basil, catnip, tea tree oil, cypress. Now what I did was I kind of looked at different recipes and made my own. So I filled a spray bottle with water. I added half cup vinegar. You can add a tablespoon of alcohol if you want, or you can just put oils in it. And what I did was I would keep one downstairs and up, just called a bug spray. And when the ants came, when I had at the other house, sometimes I had some ants there, and you have to spray it a little bit more because I didn't do the strong vinegar. I think that's why. Like I would spray it once a day. So I would just each day spray where they're at, and it took care of them. It kills them. Did you you guys find out that it works great?
I didn't know about ants, but
Yeah, I use it on anything
huh.
that is coming into the home. So that has.
I thought you were talking about bug spray as in putting it on yourself.
Oh.
Like when you go out. That's what I think of bug spray.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, actually, both of them. They both can work. When I was at Linda's one time, I didn't have anything along with me, and she had cinnamon. So I just put cinnamon on my skin, and they were not bothering me. They did not like it.
Cinnamon oil.
Yeah,
Okay.
cinnamon oil. Yeah. Now, if you have the strong cinnamon oil with Young Living, you do want to put like some olive oil on first or coconut oil, and then put that oil on. But the kind that she had, we didn't have to do that. And I get some at Save Mart. I know they say you should do Young Living or doTERRA, you know, you have different people, but I do have 100% natural, which I know I don't take them inwardly, but I use them more for stuff like this, bug spray or, yeah. So just a few things here. I'm not gonna go through all this because I'll give out the notes and then you can kind of go over it, but just real quick, for baking, you can add a teaspoon or two to cakes, cupcakes, cookies to react with the baking soda of the distilled vinegar. And poaching eggs, you can add a splash to simmering water. It helps the egg whites set and gives you a more uniform poached egg. And that's with this as well.
So with baking, does it make it rise better, or what's the, like?
Well, I made a homemade cake one time, chocolate cake, and it had vinegar in it. It was delicious.
So it adds to the flavor.
Yes.
It's not like making it lighter.
And
or,
moist. It made it really moist. So I don't know. I guess the way it works with the baking soda,
I think that's what it is.
yeah, works really good. And then buttermilk. Did you ever do a substitute for buttermilk? If you're in a pinch and you don't have buttermilk, you're out of it. You just put 1 tablespoon of vinegar to 1 cup of whole milk.
Mm-hmm.
And then that takes care of that recipe. Cooking rice, add a teaspoon of vinegar to your rice cooking water, and this will give you less starchy, fluffier grains. That's another one. The one thing with the apple cider now with the mother, this is what I take every day, 1 or 2 times a day before I eat, because it's a good digestion. It's good for digestion. What it says is it's basically, the mother means it's some particles in it from the fermentation process. So that's why they call it the mother. If you get the organic raw unfiltered, that's really the best to get if you're going to be taking it, you know, inward. So I take 2 teaspoons in a little bit of water, and it works great. And also, that's what I use for my blisters, which I already said. And it's great for marinating and barbecue sauce. I make barbecue sauce with this, and ketchup and mustard and onions and all that. That makes a good one. I wanted to share this. There's this guy named Dr. Nick Zyrowski, and he is a founder of New Vision Health Center. And I have that on here. If you ever want to go online, he has just some really awesome tips about Bragg's apple cider vinegar. It balances pH. It's good for weight loss. It's good for balancing blood pressure and blood sugar. It's a popular digestive remedy. It reduces cholesterol, and it's good for diabetes. It's great for heartburn. Steve got a little bit of heartburn when we were in Costa Rica, and we had apple cider vinegar along. And I looked up natural remedy. If you ever want to look up what to take, you just put in there natural remedy for heartburn, and vinegar came up. So he took some vinegar and water, and he was fine. It was very interesting. Anyway, he has this doctor has an apple cider vinegar fasting drink. I haven't tried it yet, but it looks pretty good. Yeah. So he has good information. Peroxide, I just want to say this, we'll end with this here. You can get peroxide, I'm sure you know, in CVS or wherever, any drugstore. And the reason why they're in a dark container, does anybody know why?
Is it sunlight? Like you don't want the sunlight?
It's light sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll usually see peroxide in a dark container. I bought them by the gallons at, it's a website called Pure Health Discount. And you can get them by the gallons because we had a hot tub. And so I would buy 4 at a time, And then we would put, like, once a week, put like 3 cups into our hot tub. So we never used chlorine for that. And that was over in Nibbits. And we love that. It worked really great. So I have a gallon over there, and I have some of the information that comes with it. They have other stuff that you can get there too. This is the bag that it comes in. So one day, I got this idea. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can put vegetables in here, like spinach or whatever, and put it in my refrigerator and it'll last longer. And it totally does. So I kept all the bags. I have about 8 of these bags that I put my vegetables in now, so it stays longer because we, you know, we juice a lot and everything. Let's see what I have here. You can get spray bottles like this if you don't want the small ones at Home Depot or wherever. You know, if you want to have bigger ones for all purpose and not run out as quick. The other thing is, there was something else with, so that's the 35%. This here is the 35% grade. It comes in a gallon. It usually has a label on, but for some reason this one leaked, and I don't have any label on it now. But 35% grade, you can't use like 3%. So when I would do I want to do like a bleach. Peroxide is a bleach. You don't have to use chlorine bleach. You don't have to use that. That whitens your clothing. So you just put that right into the utility sink. That's why I get the 35% grade. And then I bleach my clothing with that.
It gets blood out.
Whitens them up. It gets blood out. Yeah. It does say that here, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
It's crazy. We did it the one time, and it like we couldn't get it out.
Yeah.
It was in our carpet, and you just pour it on it, and it just bubbles for a little bit. You wipe it off, and it was away.
Gets fruit
Crazy.
stains out. Yeah.
I could not believe it.
I know. It works great.
Yeah.
And that's why if you know, you can always get this. You can get the 3% and just use that if you didn't get the gallons and you're not using
You
it a lot.
could use it in your laundry, you said, right? It wouldn't hurt anything.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to tell you here. I'll go to that actually. The washing machine, add 1 cup of this 3% peroxide to the washer drum before adding water or clothing, or into the bleach dispenser.
So would it act like bleach? Like if you had blues, it would make them white, or not? It would have to be like if you poured that on a blue shirt, would it bleach the color out?
Okay, that's a good question because I did check into that. This is usually safe with dye, stable fabrics, washable, but if you want to test it in treating stains, just spray let me see if I have it here. Yeah, here it is. Spray small amount of peroxide on stain. Soak 10 minutes before washing. But then you want to test it out before you do that to make sure it doesn't fade. Just dip a cotton swab in the peroxide and then rub it on the fabric. If color transfers, don't proceed then. So you can always check it first if it's gonna, you know, do that. So you have like musty towels and sneakers. You can mix half cup peroxide to enough water to submerge the smelly items. Let it soak for 30 minutes and then wash as usual. And it really does take care of it. Peroxide is another good thing for taking care of odors and stuff. If you want an entire wash and you have all the smelly items, you can just put in there. Just put 1 cup of peroxide in the washer drum and then soak up to 1 hour and then put the detergent in and then wash it. So I like the 35% grade on hand too, because then if I want to do bleach, I don't have to use so much of this. I can just use a stronger and less amount. Doesn't take much. Underarm stains. This I haven't tried. You combine 1 part baking soda, 1 part 3% peroxide, and 1 part water. Rub into the stain. So if you have, a t-shirt that you have trouble with an old toothbrush, it takes about a 1/4 cup for 1 shirt. So it's 1 part baking soda, 1 part peroxide, and 1 part water. You let it set for 15 minutes before washing. And I'd really like to try that. I think that's a good one. So if you want to put this in the bleach dispenser, you can do that. You're wasting money. I saw this, that you're wasting money if you try to use peroxide and chlorine bleach. Because if you do it in the same load, what it does is if you combine them, it won't give you double whiteness. It actually, the sodium hypochlorite of the bleach is much stronger oxidant and immediately breaks down the peroxide into just plain water. That's how strong chlorine bleach is. If I could recommend to everybody to get chlorine bleach out of your house, I would. And get the gallon
And
of,
that was 35%, right?
yeah,
That's the stronger
35%
than the
grade,
70
yeah,
that
that's much stronger, this is
stores.
3%, yeah. Yeah, that would be more like if you wanna bleach, you know, a lot of white things at one time, or, well, you don't have to do a lot, you just don't put as much in them.
So would you use that, the 35% grade too for like mold?
Yes,
Like 'cause sometimes we have,
yes,
like in our shower on the grout lines or whatever, mold.
yeah, you could use that for mold. But the 35 grade, you do not wanna get your fingers on that, because I would go to pour it in the cup to put it in the hot tub, if you get it on your finger, it'll start getting white, and then it'll start getting like funny feeling, and I would just use some soap and try to wash it off. So you don't want your kids around that. That's not something you want your kids around, yeah.
Can you use that in a swimming pool too?
Oh yeah, we tried the peroxide in the pool for a while, it was working, but it takes way too much. You would need, yeah, our swimming pool, how big a swimming pool do you have?
It is, it's just one of those,
22 footers or something?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll give you
actually-
information on that.
Okay.
There's actually, it's for swimming pools and hot tubs. You
Okay.
just have to know how to use it, yeah. You can use that for that too.
Cause right
Yeah.
now I put the chlorine tablets in.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It just depends how much you want to, how much it takes for your pool, and then how much you wanna, you know, spend. So, but yeah, that'd be great if you could do that. It does say, for the hot tub, it said 1 cup for every 250 gallons. So you probably have to figure out how many gallons you have, and then. Okay, just for coconut oil now, that's just, I'm down to the end here. Coconut oil, there's so many uses, and I'd love to hear some of yours. You know what, let me back up to peroxide. Do any of you have anything about peroxide that I didn't mention? No, you just mentioned one about spots on the carpet, right?
The blood. Well, blood.
The blood, yeah, and it
Actually,
takes
have
fruit
you ever
stem.
heard of hydrogen peroxide for earaches?
Oh yeah, it's for earaches as well.
Yeah.
When you get out of the pool, when people would have trouble with their ears, you know, you can have it in a spray. I usually take peroxide along on a trip too in a spray bottle like
You
this.
just sprayed it in your ear.
Yeah, I just sprayed it in my ear.
We did the eyedropper.
Yeah, you can do the eyedropper as well. That's very good. The 3%.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, 3%. Don't forget it. Don't do 35 grade. Yeah, that'd be bad. But if you look up peroxide for health benefits, you wouldn't believe all the stuff they have for that, even for in your mouth. If you have an infection in your mouth, whatever, it takes care of so much stuff. Coconut oil is awesome. I had coconut oil in my hands one time, and I got some, I couldn't get the one label off, this one, I forget, plastic bottle, I don't know what it was. And here, the coconut oil, I could tell it was helping take the label off. So I find out it removes labels and sticky residue from plastic, glass, wood, and other hard surfaces. And I've already used it for, like, you know, your stairwell, the railing. You know how it gets like kind of grimy with all of our wonderful dirt on our hands? You can use coconut oil for that too, to take off the grime. That works. Steve he uses it as a gel for his hair every day. He's been doing that for years. He uses it as a gel. And also for skin. This is a new one for me. It removes dead bugs or sap from the car. I didn't know that.
Like windshield or headlights?
Like
or
the hood and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, well, probably the headlights too. So I'm gonna try that.
Oh.
That's a new one. I'd like to try that. I did try this and I loved it without knowing you're supposed to. I shined Steve's leather shoes one time and they got great. And then I saw that online it says you can do that. Shine leather shoes. So that's another one. It removes gum from hair. I didn't know that. You apply the oil directly to the gum, let it sit for a moment before sliding the gum out. So if any of your grandkids, kids get any gum in their hair. It removes crayon from walls and scuffed floors. So even crayon marks on walls, it does that too.
Does it leave an oily residue on the wall then? Like,
I didn't get to try
how
that
do
yet.
you get that off?
Well, I don't
Baking
think it
soda.
does. They said, yeah, baking soda after that. There you go.
Who knows?
Yeah, hopefully you'll have paint left on your wall, but
Yeah.
no, the baking soda didn't take off my paint.
Follow that up with
It
30
did. It worked great with the Norwex rags, and I even used the sponge a little bit, like the rough part of the sponge. So yeah, so the last thing I have is olive oil. I love that for my skin. That's the only thing I've used on my skin for years. I don't use creams, I don't use anything. I just use olive oil.
At nighttime?
Yeah,
In the morning?
in the
Just-
morning and at nighttime.
Really?
Hmm. And I don't use much, I just put enough on that it, and then when I'm out in Florida, when I come back in and I take a shower, it's olive oil. I just love olive oil. Some people use coconut oil, but olive oil for me just spreads on better, and
So what I heard,
I just like it.
coconut oil actually is a hair enhancer. Like it helps grow hair.
Coconut oil does, it
Yeah.
helps grows hair?
So
Grow hair.
I don't put it on my face.
Oh. Well, actually it depends on the person, cause I try it on my face and it breaks out. I break out.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't. Well,
doesn't do good on my face.
I feel like it grows my hair faster.
Oh,
So I purposely I don't put it on my legs or my face.
okay.
I'll put it on my arms.
Okay, that's a little nugget.
But and actually, it's a teeth whitener.
Yes, yes, it's a teeth whitener and it's a gum. Actually, I need to start
Like for ginger.
for about 10
Yeah,
minutes
oil
for my
pulling.
gums. I'm supposed to swish it around. Yeah, I
So
need
when
to do that.
You put olive oil on your face or coconut oil?
I don't do any olive oil or coconut oil on my face. I do have an organic cream for that
Oh, okay.
that I get at
So
Save
for your
Mart.
body, you use olive
But for
oil.
my body, everywhere else, I use olive oil, and I really love it. That works well for me, and I use it on my wooden floors and more. So there's two things that I've used for years since my mom was in Shackley, and I used to work for Dave Stolzfus. I was his office manager for years, and he was in Shackley. I don't know if you ever heard of Shackley. Did any of you grow up
Yeah.
hearing about Shackley? Okay, so the two things that I use is Basic H and Basic G. This is a germicide, and this has like a soybean oil foundation in the product. And what I do is I put it in these little squirt bottles. But since I've been using vinegar and water, I don't use these hardly at all anymore. Just every once in a while, if I feel like disinfecting something, I'll do that. And also my mom would usually put this in bath water when she starts getting a cold. And she would just breathe out. This is a disinfectant, so she would do that, and she would end up getting a cold. But it's biodegradable, and this is like an all-purpose cleaner. You can bathe with it, you can wash a car with it, whatever. So that's the things I have on hand in my house. I have to cheat on one thing, but I'm gonna try baking soda. I have to tell you, I do keep SOS pads in my sink, underneath my sink, for the pans, on the bottom of my pans. But since I'm becoming a baking soda,
Guru.
yeah, guru. What did you say?
I said devotee.
Yeah, devotee. I'm gonna try baking soda paste.
That was something else I was gonna say too. With baking soda and lemons, just the other day we have big cutting boards at work, and we use them every single day, and they get washed every single day. But if they get laid down on the counter, they get wet, or they're wet and they just smell awful.
Okay.
So what I did is I scrubbed them all down. Well, I thought about vinegar. We were actually out of vinegar,
Okay.
and I was like, and I had a bunch of lemons. So what I did is I just
Oh.
sprinkled baking soda all over them. I scrubbed them with a lemon, and it started fizzing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
I
because there's
was
juice
like-
of a lemon.
Yeah, and it was just like, and I was like, I didn't know it would fizz, but the next day, I was smelling it, and you couldn't smell anything on that cutting board. at all.
Oh, that
It
is
was
great. Oh,
But like,
I love it.
as I was scrubbing it, it was coming off brown too. It was kind of.
Oh.
But I mean, it was awesome. Like, it worked really well.
That's
I
something.
haven't had a problem, and it's been like a month now, and they still don't smell.
That's something.
So I'm sold on that. But
Yeah, wow, that sounds good. So you did baking soda and a lemon to clean off your cutting board.
Yeah, because I had done baking soda and vinegar,
Yeah,
and that does okay, but I had to clean them. I did it almost every week, and then with the lemons though, I haven't had a problem.
Wow.
It made it better. I don't know.
I love trying things like that. And especially, the Lord has always given us like wonderful tools
Mm-hmm.
of the land, and yeah, He's given us so many things, plants to glean from. So this night was just to encourage you not to feel condemnation if we're not doing what everybody's doing. It's not to feel condemned, but it's just to start somewhere. If you want to just start with a basic spray of vinegar and water, and then some have oils in it, or baking soda paste. It's really a blessing. So it was meant to be a blessing to you, and just to give you some tips to start with if you'd like. So thanks everybody for coming.